5 years ago, a 19-year-old boy sat alone in his bedroom on New Year's Eve, crying. Not because someone died, not because his heart was broken, but because he looked at himself in the mirror and realized he had become everything he promised himself he'd never be. A quitter, a procrastinator, someone who talked big but did nothing. That boy made a decision that night that changed everything. And exactly 365 days later, people who knew him couldn't believe he was the same person. His own mother asked him, "What happened to you?" But here's what's important. He wasn't special. He didn't have money. He didn't have connections. He didn't even have confidence. All he had was one realization that I'm about to share with you. And if you're sitting here right now, feeling stuck, feeling like you've wasted another year, feeling like maybe you're not capable of change, this story is for you. Because that boy was named Marcus, and what he discovered can transform your 2026 starting right now. Let me take you back to December 31st, 2019. Marcus was sitting in his tiny bedroom staring at a piece of paper. On it was a list he'd written exactly 1 year earlier. Learn guitar, get fit, start a business, read 50 books. He hadn't done any of it, not one single thing. His phone kept buzzing with New Year's party invitations, but Marcus couldn't move. He was frozen, looking at that crumpled piece of paper, feeling like the biggest failure in the world. 1 year had passed, and he was exactly the same person. Maybe even worse, because now he knew what it felt like to break promises to himself. Around him, he could hear fireworks starting. People were celebrating. They were excited about the new year. But Marcus felt nothing but shame. That night, instead of going to any party, Marcus sat down and asked himself a question that would change everything. What if I stopped trying to change my entire life in one day and just become 1% better tomorrow? What happened next is a story about how one ordinary young man turned his life around, not through some magical moment, but through a simple decision he made in that small bedroom. Let me take you to January 1st, 2020. While everyone else was sleeping off their hangovers, Marcus was awake at 6 a.m. Not because he was suddenly a different person, but because he'd made a tiny promise to himself. Just wake up at 6 a.m. That's it. No workout, no grand plans, just wake up. He did it. And the next day, he did it again. By day 3, he was awake anyway, so he did 10 push-ups. Just 10. On day 7, he picked up a book and read 5 pages while drinking his coffee. None of this seemed like it mattered. His friends were still partying. His life looked exactly the same. But something was happening beneath the surface. By February, Marcus had a routine. Wake up, 20 push-ups, 10 pages. He started watching free guitar tutorials on YouTube for just 15 minutes a day. His fingers hurt. He sounded terrible, but he kept showing up. Here's what Marcus told me years later. I realized that the person I wanted to become wasn't waiting for me at some finish line. I was becoming him every single morning at 6 a.m., every time I did the push-ups when I didn't want to, every time I read instead of scrolled. That's when the transformation was actually happening. March came and COVID hit. The world shut down. Everyone Marcus knew fell apart, sleeping until noon, spending all day online, giving up on everything. But Marcus had something they didn't, a system that didn't depend on gyms being open or life being normal. His bedroom became his universe, and every day he just kept showing up. But let me be honest with you, it wasn't all perfect. There was a week in April when Marcus broke. He was tired of being disciplined while watching everyone else relax. He was tired of practicing guitar alone while his friends played video games together. He was tired of feeling like the weirdo who took life so seriously. For 5 days straight, Marcus slept in. He ordered pizza. He binged entire seasons of shows. And you know what? It felt amazing. For about 2 days. Then it felt empty. Then it felt like he was slipping back into the person he'd promised himself he'd never be again. On day 6, Marcus woke up at 9 a.m. feeling hollow. He looked at himself in the mirror, and here's what he realized. Nobody was coming to save him. No motivational video, no perfect moment, no external force was going to make him the person he wanted to be. It was just him, his choices, and the next 24 hours. That day, he didn't wait until tomorrow. He didn't wait until Monday. At 9:15 a.m., he did his push-ups. At 9:30, he picked up his guitar. And just like that, he was back. Here's what Marcus learned in that moment and what I need you to understand. The person you're becoming isn't determined by your perfect days. It's determined by what you do after you fall. Anyone can be disciplined when they're motivated, but who are you when motivation runs out? Who are you on the bad days? That's who you really are. Marcus decided that on his bad days, he would still be someone who showed up. Even if it was messy, even if it was imperfect, he would still be someone who kept his promises to himself. Fast forward to July 2020. Marcus had been consistent for 6 months. He could play 3 songs on guitar. He could do 50 push-ups without stopping. He'd read 18 books. But the real change wasn't in those numbers. It was in how he saw himself. One night, his best friend called him struggling. "Man, I don't know what to do with my life. I feel stuck. I feel lost." And Marcus said something that surprised even himself. You don't need to figure out your whole life. You just need to figure out tomorrow. What's one thing you can do tomorrow that future you would thank you for? That's when Marcus realized he wasn't just changing his own life anymore. His transformation was inspiring the people around him. His younger sister started waking up early with him. His mom started walking every morning after seeing his discipline. His friends started learning digital marketing after one of their conversations. By December 2020, Marcus had learned to play 15 songs on guitar. He was in the best shape of his life. He'd read 31 books, but more importantly, he'd started a small social media account sharing his journey, helping other young people build better habits. It had 3,000 followers, not huge, but it was something real that he'd built from nothing. On December 31st, 2020, Marcus sat in that same bedroom. But this time, when he looked at his list, almost everything had a check mark. Not because he'd had some magical year, but because he'd had 365 ordinary days where he chose to be 1% better. Now you might be thinking, that's a nice story, but Marcus is different. He's more disciplined, he's more talented, he had fewer responsibilities. But here's what you don't know about Marcus. He failed 2 classes in high school. He struggled with anxiety and spent most of 2019 feeling depressed. His parents were going through a divorce. He worked part-time at a grocery store earning minimum wage. He didn't have a gym membership, a fancy camera, or any special advantages. All he had was one realization that I'm about to share with you. And if you're sitting here right now, feeling stuck, feeling like you've wasted another year, feeling like maybe you're not capable of change, this story is for you. Because what Marcus understood is something that could change your life right now. You don't need to be extraordinary to start. You just need to start. You don't need perfect circumstances. You just need to work with what you have. You don't need to change everything at once. You just need to change one thing today. Today, in 2026, Marcus is 24 years old. He runs a coaching business helping young people build better habits. He's in incredible shape. He plays guitar at local open mics. He's written an ebook that's helped thousands of people. But if you ask him when his life really changed, he'll tell you it was that night in his bedroom when he stopped waiting for permission to become who he wanted to be. So now let me ask you, where are you sitting right now? Maybe it's your bedroom, like Marcus. Maybe it's your apartment, your dorm room, your parents' house. Wherever you are, you're at the exact same crossroads Marcus was at. So now it's your turn. Build habits and change your life. Wish you all the best.